Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is a name that echoes through history as a beacon of guidance, compassion, and transformation. His life is more than a story. It's a journey of resilience, leadership, and faith that shaped the course of humanity. In the next 30 minutes, we'll explore his remarkable life, uncovering how he rose from humble beginnings in the deserts of Arabia to become a figure revered by billions worldwide. Through trials, revelations, and triumphs, his legacy offers timeless lessons that remain as relevant today as ever. Stay with us as we delve into the extraordinary life of the man who changed the world. The story of the Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, is one of the most extraordinary narratives in human history. It is the story of an orphaned child who, against all odds, grew up to become one of the most influential figures the world has ever known. From humble beginnings in the heart of the Arabian Peninsula, he rose to lead a movement that transformed societies, challenged entrenched systems of power, and reshaped the spiritual and moral fabric of humanity. This narrative is not just about an individual. It is about a vision, a message, and a mission that transcended time, place, and circumstance. Born in the year 570 CE, Muhammad's life began in the city of Mecca, a bustling trade hub in the Arabian Peninsula. The region, though economically vibrant, was deeply fragmented by tribal divisions, social inequalities, and widespread idolatry. The tribes of Arabia worshipped a multitude of gods, and the social structure was dominated by clan loyalties, where the powerful exploited the weak. Amidst this backdrop, the birth of Muhammad was a beacon of hope, though it came under challenging circumstances. His father, Abdullah, passed away before he was born, leaving his mother, Amina, to care for him. Tragedy struck again when, at the tender age of 6, he lost his mother, leaving him an orphan. He was then taken in by his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, and later by his uncle, Abu Talib. These early experiences of loss and hardship would profoundly shape his character, instilling in him empathy, resilience, and a deep connection to the struggles of the marginalized. As Muhammad grew, his character began to stand out. Even in his youth, he was known for his honesty, humility, and trustworthiness. These qualities earned him the titles Al-Amin, the trustworthy, and Al-Sadiq, the truthful, which became hallmarks of his personality throughout his life. He worked as a shepherd, and later as a merchant, demonstrating an unparalleled commitment to fairness and integrity in all his dealings. This foundation of moral excellence laid the groundwork for the monumental role he would later assume. Despite the challenges of his early life, Muhammad's story is not one of despair, but one of hope and transformation. It is a testament to the power of character, faith, and divine purpose. His life exemplifies the journey of an individual who, guided by profound spiritual insight and an unwavering commitment to justice, rose above the limitations of his circumstances. His mission was not only to address the immediate problems of his society, but to deliver a timeless message for all of humanity. What makes Muhammad's story so compelling is its universal relevance. His life resonates across cultures, time periods, and religious boundaries, offering lessons in compassion, perseverance, and leadership. He demonstrated that greatness is not defined by material wealth or social status, but by one's character, actions, and dedication to serving a higher purpose. His message, centered on the oneness of God, the importance of ethical conduct, and the need for social justice, remains as relevant today as it was over 1,400 years ago. The Prophet's journey is not merely a historical account, but an inspiration for billions. It is the story of a man who transformed a fragmented society into a unified community, a message of hope for the oppressed, and a call to action for all who seek to create a more just and compassionate world. As we delve into the life of Muhammad, we uncover not just the legacy of a prophet, but a guide who showed humanity the path to spiritual and moral enlightenment. This introduction is but a glimpse into a life that continues to inspire, challenge, and illuminate the hearts and minds of people across the globe. The story of Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, begins in the year 570 CE, a time of great turbulence and transition in the Arabian Peninsula. This era, often referred to as the Age of Ignorance, Jahiliyyah, was characterized by widespread tribal feuds, idolatry, and moral corruption. Yet even in this harsh and fragmented society, the seeds of a transformative life were sown with the birth of Muhammad in the city of Mecca. His arrival marked the beginning of a journey that would reshape the spiritual, social, and moral fabric of humanity. Muhammad was born into the esteemed Banu Hashim clan, part of the powerful Quraysh tribe, which held considerable influence in Mecca. The Quraysh were the custodians of the Kaaba, a sacred sanctuary and a central site of pilgrimage for various tribes in the region. Despite the tribe's prestige, Muhammad's family was not among its wealthiest members. His father, Abdullah, passed away before he was born, leaving his mother, Amina, to care for him. This loss left Muhammad without the traditional protection and support that a father's presence often provided in tribal society, making his early life more challenging. Muhammad's birth brought a sense of hope and light to his family, even amid tragedy. According to tradition, his mother, Amina, experienced a series of extraordinary events surrounding his birth, which she later interpreted as signs of her son's unique destiny. However, the joy of his arrival was tempered by sorrow, as his father's absence left Amina to navigate motherhood alone. This loss marked the beginning of a series of hardships that would shape Muhammad's early years and build his resilience. As an infant, Muhammad was sent to live with a foster family in the desert, a common practice among the Quraysh nobility. The harsh desert environment was believed to foster physical strength, linguistic purity, and a deeper connection to Arab traditions. He was cared for by Halima bint Abi Duaib and her family, who came to love him as their own. Halima would later recount how Muhammad's presence brought blessings to their household, including an increase in their livestock and provisions. This period in the desert, filled with simplicity and purity, left a lasting impact on Muhammad and nurtured his early sense of connection to nature and contemplation. At the age of 6, tragedy struck again when Muhammad lost his mother, Amina, during a journey from Medina to Mecca. This event left him an orphan, a status that carried significant vulnerability in tribal society. His grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, took him in and provided care and guidance. Abdul Muttalib, a respected elder of the Quraysh, recognized Muhammad's potential and showed him great affection. However, this period of stability was short-lived, as Abdul Muttalib passed away 2 years later when Muhammad was 8 years old. With the death of his grandfather, Muhammad came under the care of his uncle, Abu Talib, who became a pivotal figure in his life. Despite limited resources, Abu Talib ensured that Muhammad was protected and raised as one of his own children. Muhammad began to assist his uncle in his trade ventures, accompanying him on caravan journeys to distant lands such as Syria. These experiences not only introduced him to the world of commerce, but also exposed him to diverse cultures and ideas, planting the seeds of his future understanding of human nature and society. Even as a young boy, Muhammad exhibited qualities that set him apart. He was known for his honesty, kindness, and thoughtfulness, earning him the admiration of those around him. His peers and elders alike were struck by his ability to navigate challenges with wisdom and composure far beyond his years. These traits, combined with his early experiences of loss and hardship, forged a character of remarkable depth and resilience. Muhammad's early life, though marked by tragedy, was also filled with moments of profound learning and connection. His experiences as an orphan instilled in him a deep empathy for the vulnerable, a quality that would later define his prophetic mission. The loss of his parents and grandfather, coupled with the nurturing care of his foster family and uncle, shaped a foundation of compassion, humility, and strength. These qualities, honed through adversity, would prepare him for the immense responsibility that lay ahead. The narrative of Muhammad's birth and early life is not merely a story of survival. It is a testament to the transformative power of character and faith. From the deserts of Arabia to the bustling trade routes of Mecca, every moment of his childhood served as a preparation for the divine mission he would later undertake. Even in these early years, the light of his future greatness shone brightly, offering glimpses of the profound impact he would have on humanity. The journey of Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, from a young shepherd to a respected merchant, is a remarkable chapter of his life, marked by growth, reflection, and the development of qualities that would later define his prophetic mission. His time spent tending flocks in the deserts of Arabia and engaging in trade along bustling caravan routes was not merely a matter of livelihood, but a period that deeply shaped his character, honed his skills, and expanded his understanding of the world around him. As a youth, Muhammad worked as a shepherd, tending the sheep and goats of Mecca's residents. This occupation provided him with time for reflection, fostering patience, mindfulness, and a deep connection to nature. Shepherding required vigilance and responsibility, shaping his character with kindness and diligence. Reflecting on this phase of his life, Muhammad later remarked, "There is no prophet who has not tended sheep," underscoring its significance in shaping his character. As he grew older, Muhammad transitioned from shepherding to trade under the guidance of his uncle, Abu Talib. He accompanied caravans on journeys across Arabia, gaining experience in negotiation and human interaction. These travels exposed him to diverse cultures and belief systems, including Judaism and Christianity, broadening his understanding of society. Muhammad distinguished himself as a trustworthy and ethical trader, earning the title Al-Amin, the trustworthy. His integrity and honesty set him apart, establishing lasting relationships based on mutual respect rather than exploitation. One of the most significant outcomes of Muhammad's career in trade was his relationship with Khadija, a wealthy widow and respected figure in Meccan society. Impressed by his character, she hired him to oversee her trade caravans. Their professional association evolved into marriage, a union marked by deep mutual respect and shared values. Khadija, known for her intelligence and generosity, became his steadfast supporter. Her unwavering belief in Muhammad became especially evident when he received his first revelation. When he returned home shaken, Khadija reassured him, "Allah will never disgrace you. You are kind to your family, help the poor, serve your guests generously, and assist those in distress." During their 25 years together, Khadija was Muhammad's closest confidant. Her passing in 619 CE was a profound loss, marking a difficult period known as the Year of Sorrow. Even after her death, Muhammad spoke of her virtues with reverence, recognizing her unparalleled contributions to his life and the early growth of Islam. Despite his success and respected status in Mecca, Muhammad felt a deep spiritual yearning. Disturbed by the idol worship and social injustices of his time, he sought solitude in the cave of Hijra, where he meditated on life's deeper meaning. In 610 CE, during one of these retreats, he experienced his first revelation. The angel Gabriel, appeared and commanded him, "Recite." Overwhelmed, Muhammad replied, "I cannot read." The angel repeated the command before revealing the first verses of the Quran. "Recite in the name of your Lord who created man from a clinging substance. Recite, and your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen, taught man that which he knew not." Surah Al-Alaq 96, 1-5. Terrified, Muhammad returned home, seeking comfort in Khadija. She took him to her cousin, Waraka ibn Nawfal, a learned Christian scholar, who confirmed that Muhammad's experience was divine, akin to the revelations given to previous prophets. The first few years after the revelation were challenging. Initially, Muhammad shared the message privately, and the first converts included his wife Khadija, his cousin Ali, his friend Abu Bakr, and his adopted son Zaid. As his message gained traction, he was commanded to preach publicly. He climbed Mount Safa and called upon the Quraysh, declaring the oneness of Allah and urging them to abandon idolatry. The Quraysh, recognizing the threat Islam posed to their power and economic interests, responded with hostility. Muhammad and his followers faced persecution. Some, like Bilal ibn Rabah, endured brutal torture. Others, including Muhammad, faced verbal abuse, physical attacks, and social ostracization. Despite his high status within the Banu Hashim clan, Muhammad was targeted, and his uncle Abu Talib played a crucial role in protecting him. In response to the growing influence of Islam, the Quraysh imposed a boycott on the Muslims, cutting off trade and social ties. This 3-year period of hardship tested the resilience of the believers. The deaths of Abu Talib and Khadija in the same year left Muhammad vulnerable, making the persecution even more severe. To seek refuge, Muhammad traveled to Ta'if, hoping its leaders would accept Islam. Instead, he was met with hostility, and the townspeople pelted him with stones. Bleeding and exhausted, he sought solace in prayer, saying, "O Allah, I complain to you of my weakness, my scarcity of resources, and the humiliation I have been subjected to." Despite rejection, his patience and trust in Allah remained unwavering. The situation in Mecca worsened, prompting Muhammad to consider migration. A delegation from Yathrib, later Medina, invited him to lead their city, offering protection and pledging allegiance. As persecution intensified, Allah commanded the Muslims to migrate to Medina in 622 CE, an event known as the Hijra. On the night of his departure, Muhammad narrowly escaped an assassination attempt and took refuge in the cave of Thawr with Abu Bakr before completing the journey to Medina. The Hijra marked the beginning of a new Islamic society. Muhammad established a mosque, unified the city's diverse tribes, and drafted the Constitution of Medina, a pioneering document outlining rights and responsibilities for all residents, including Jews and non-Muslims. However, tensions with the Quraysh escalated, leading to key battles. The Battle of Badr was a decisive Muslim victory, despite being outnumbered. The Battle of Uhud was a test of discipline, where disobedience led to losses. The Battle of the Trench showcased Muhammad's strategic brilliance, as a defensive trench prevented the Quraysh from breaching Medina. In 628 CE, the Treaty of Hudaybiyah was signed, ensuring peace for 10 years. Though seemingly unfavorable, it allowed Islam to spread rapidly. When the Quraysh violated the treaty, Muhammad marched on Mecca in 630 CE with 10,000 men. The conquest was peaceful, and Muhammad displayed unmatched mercy, declaring, "Go, for you are free." He cleansed the Kaaba of idols and solidified Islam's presence in Arabia. The Prophet's final years focused on consolidating Islam. His farewell pilgrimage in 632 CE attracted over 100,000 Muslims. In his sermon, he emphasized equality, justice, and adherence to the Quran and Sunnah. Shortly after returning to Medina, he fell ill. His last words, "O Allah, the highest companion," reflected his longing for divine union. He passed away in Aisha's arms on the 12th of Rabi al-Awwal, 11 AH. Muhammad's life exemplified perseverance, leadership, and compassion. His legacy endures as a model of justice, faith, and resilience. His teachings continue to guide and inspire millions worldwide. The challenges and battles faced during the Prophet's lifetime were not merely military engagements, but profound tests of faith, unity, and perseverance. Each event carried lessons in strategy, reliance on Allah, and the transformative power of leadership rooted in compassion and wisdom. These experiences laid the foundation for the growth and spread of Islam, inspiring generations to pursue justice, peace, and unwavering belief in the face of adversity. Through his actions, the Prophet Muhammad left a timeless legacy that continues to guide humanity. The Treaty of Hudaybiyah and the conquest of Mecca stand as two of the most defining moments in the life of Prophet Muhammad. May peace be upon him and the history of Islam. These events reflect the Prophet's wisdom, foresight, and steadfast commitment to principles of peace, forgiveness, and justice. Together, they mark the culmination of years of struggle, laying the foundation for the unification of Arabia under the banner of Islam, and showcasing the profound impact of leadership rooted in patience and mercy. The Treaty of Hudaybiyah unfolded in 628 CE when the Prophet decided to perform Umrah, a pilgrimage to the Kaaba in Mecca. This act, deeply symbolic for the Muslim community, represented their rightful connection to the holiest site in Islam. With over 1,400 companions, the Prophet embarked on the journey dressed in simple garments of pilgrimage, carrying no weapons to signify their peaceful intent. However, the Quraysh, still hostile to Islam, interpreted this as a provocation and mobilized to block their entry into the city. The Muslims halted at Hudaybiyah, a location near Mecca, where the Prophet initiated negotiations with the Quraysh. The discussions were tense, with the Quraysh attempting to assert dominance, but the Prophet remained steadfast in his pursuit of a peaceful resolution. After extensive exchanges, a treaty was agreed upon. Among its terms, the Muslims would return to Medina without performing Umrah that year, but could return the following year for a 3-day pilgrimage. A 10-year truce was established, allowing peace between the two parties, and any tribes were free to ally with either side. Some of the conditions, particularly the return of Muslim defectors to Mecca without reciprocity for those fleeing to Medina, appeared unfavorable. Many Muslims were disheartened, questioning why the Prophet would agree to such terms. However, the Prophet reassured them, trusting in Allah's plan and emphasizing that this was a step toward a greater victory. Despite initial disappointment, the treaty proved to be a strategic triumph. It allowed the Muslim community to focus on spreading Islam without the constant threat of Quraysh hostility. During this period of peace, Islam flourished, attracting many new converts and strengthening the Muslim presence in Arabia. This peace was eventually broken when the Quraysh violated the treaty by supporting an attack on a tribe allied with the Muslims. In response, the Prophet prepared for a decisive confrontation. In 630 CE, he led an army of 10,000 men to Mecca, demonstrating the strength and unity of the Muslim community. This campaign, however, was not one of vengeance, but one aimed at restoring peace and reclaiming the sanctity of the Kaaba. As the Muslim army advanced, many Quraysh leaders, recognizing the futility of resistance, sought reconciliation. Among them was Abu Sufyan, a former opponent of Islam, who was forgiven by the Prophet and assured safety for those seeking refuge. The conquest of Mecca unfolded without bloodshed. The Prophet entered the city with humility, his head bowed in submission to Allah, emphasizing that this was a divine victory rather than a personal triumph. Upon reaching the Kaaba, he cleansed it of idols, restoring it as a center of monotheistic worship. He declared a general amnesty for the Quraysh, stating, "Go, for you are free," despite the years of persecution they had inflicted on him and his followers. This extraordinary act of forgiveness won the hearts of many, leading to the widespread acceptance of Islam among the Quraysh and neighboring tribes. The conquest of Mecca was a transformative event, marking the unification of the Arabian Peninsula under Islam. It symbolized the triumph of faith, justice, and forgiveness over enmity and division. The Prophet's merciful approach during the conquest set a timeless example of how to treat one's adversaries with dignity and compassion, demonstrating that true strength lies not in vengeance but in reconciliation. By restoring the Kaaba as a symbol of monotheism, the Prophet reaffirmed its role as a unifying focal point for Muslims worldwide. These events not only secured the future of Islam, but also highlighted the Prophet Muhammad's unparalleled leadership and moral integrity. The Treaty of Hudaybiyah, initially perceived as a setback, paved the way for Islam's rapid growth, while the peaceful conquest of Mecca showcased the power of humility and forgiveness. Together, they remain profound examples of the enduring values of patience, justice, and compassion, inspiring generations to follow the Prophet's example in the pursuit of unity and peace. The final chapter of Prophet Muhammad's life, may peace be upon him, was defined by two profoundly significant events: the farewell pilgrimage and his peaceful passing. Together, these moments encapsulated the completion of his divine mission and left an enduring legacy for humanity. They signified the culmination of a life devoted to spreading faith, justice, and compassion, while providing timeless guidance that continues to inspire millions across the world. In the 10th year of the Hijra, Prophet Muhammad announced his intention to perform the Hajj, a deeply symbolic act that emphasized the unity and spiritual foundation of the Muslim Ummah. This pilgrimage, later known as the Farewell Pilgrimage, brought together over 100,000 Muslims from across the Arabian Peninsula, highlighting the strength and cohesion of the growing community. The Prophet meticulously prepared for the journey, ensuring that every step and ritual would serve as a model for future generations. As he and his companions traveled from Medina to Mecca, they donned simple garments of ihram, recited the talbiyah as a declaration of submission to Allah, and approached their destination with humility and devotion. Upon arriving in Mecca, the Prophet performed the rituals of Hajj, including the circling of the Kaaba, the walking between Safa and Marwa, and the symbolic stoning of the pillars at Mina. Each act reinforced the principles of submission, remembrance, and gratitude to Allah. The highlight of the pilgrimage was the Prophet's sermon on the plain of Arafat, a comprehensive summary of Islamic teachings and a message of enduring relevance. He emphasized the sanctity of life, property, and honor, proclaiming the equality of all humans regardless of race or ethnicity, declaring that true superiority lies only in piety. He condemned exploitation, urged adherence to the Quran and Sunnah, and reminded the gathering of their accountability to Allah on the Day of Judgment. As he concluded, he asked, "Have I conveyed the message?" And upon hearing their affirmative response, he raised his hands to the heavens and declared, "O Allah, bear witness." During this pilgrimage, one of the last verses of the Quran was revealed, signifying the completion of the divine message. "This day I have perfected for you your religion and completed my favor upon you, and have approved for you Islam as your religion." Surah Al-Ma'idah 5:3. Shortly after the farewell pilgrimage, signs of illness began to manifest in the Prophet. Despite his declining health, he continued to fulfill his responsibilities, offering guidance and prayers for his followers. Spending his final days in the home of his wife, Aisha, he remained deeply concerned for the well-being of the Muslim community, urging them to uphold prayer, unity, and justice. In a poignant message to his companions, he reminded them of Allah's mercy and the importance of maintaining righteousness, saying, "Be good to each other, pray regularly, fear Allah, and know that you will meet Him." On one occasion, despite his weakness, he attempted to lead the communal prayer, but found himself unable to stand. Abu Bakr, his closest companion, stepped forward to lead in his stead, a symbolic act that signified the transition of leadership and the continuity of the Muslim Ummah. On the 12th of Rabi al-Awwal, in the 11th year of the Hijra, the Prophet passed away peacefully in Aisha's arms. His final words were, "O Allah, the highest companion," a testament to his unwavering faith and devotion to his Creator. The Prophet's passing left the Muslim community in deep mourning, but his life's work had already established a solid foundation for their faith and governance. His teachings provided a comprehensive guide for personal conduct, social justice, and community building, while his humility, justice, and mercy set timeless examples of leadership. By the time of his passing, Islam had unified the Arabian Peninsula, replacing tribal divisions with a shared faith and purpose. His farewell sermon and the Quran's final revelation emphasized universal principles of justice, equality, and accountability, ensuring that Islam's message would resonate across cultures and generations. The farewell pilgrimage and the passing of Prophet Muhammad marked the completion of his divine mission and the end of an extraordinary era. Yet, his legacy continues to guide and inspire billions of people worldwide. His principles of faith, compassion, and justice serve as a powerful reminder of the transformative impact of living a life devoted to Allah and the betterment of humanity. His farewell was not only to his companions, but to all of humanity, leaving behind a message of hope, unity, and eternal guidance. As we reach the end of this journey, one truth stands clear. Prophet Muhammad's life was a testament to the transformative power of character, compassion, and unwavering purpose. His message of unity, justice, and mercy continues to inspire hearts and minds across generations. If his story has resonated with you, let it spark reflection and action in your life. Thank you for watching and joining us in this exploration of his legacy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's continue learning and spreading understanding together. Peace be upon you.